All right, we are finishing our Dynasty collective tier ranking.
Oh boy.
Today with the tight ends. Tight ends. We did quarterbacks. We've done running backs. We did wide receivers last week. You can see all those on our page. A lot of opinions in the comments. A lot of difference of opinions, and that's great. We welcome that.
We'd love to see it. Honestly.
So today we are going to try and bring a collective tier ranked tight ends for Dynasty. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is always difficult because Badaki and I see things differently a lot, and we might have certain players in different tiers. But let's just get started here with the S tier. Can we both agree that Kyle Pitts is a tight end 1 in Dynasty?
Correct. No doubt about it.
Okay. And Mark Andrews is a tight end 1B
Correct.
in Dynasty.
Love that. I was scared. I was like, I think he's only going to have Kyle Pitts in the S tier. But yes, I have Mark Andrews as well.
I would say this. I personally am only willing to spend a Dynasty startup pick on a tight end in the first 2 rounds if it's Kyle Pitts.
Okay.
If it's Kyle Pitts. But I also understand how valuable Mark Andrews is, how young he is, connected to a young quarterback.
Exactly.
He is the most valuable asset receiver in that offense. So I understand the appeal of Mark Andrews, and he's definitely deserving of the S tier, in my opinion.
Agreed. I hear you.
So who's the beginning of this A tier for you then? This is where it gets a little bit interesting because some older guys, proven production. Where does it start for you?
Yeah, for me, I have George Kittle, Travis Kelce, TJ, and then Darren Waller.
I love that. You know, I actually was really going back and forth on TJ Hawkinson for a little bit there. I really had to double check and check my conviction on my Hawkinson rankings, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Because if we're talking about first half of the season, Hawkinson might be the first person on this tier. We're talking about the second half of the season, injuries and just, not involved. Still such a young tight end. Was still a top 10 pick in the NFL draft.
Yep, that's correct.
We talked about this before on a different live stream, Badaki. I think the Lions offense is improving, and I don't think that they're a bad they're a bad franchise, but there's good people, there's good heads in that front office, and you don't let go of good players and get better. So I think they're going to re-sign TJ Hawkinson to a long-term deal. The tight end market is not the same as the wide receiver market, and he hasn't put up those kind of numbers. And the thing that really sold it to me was I was like, let me look at this from a completely unbiased perspective.
Right.
On a points per game basis, he scored more points than Darren Waller last year.
Yeah.
On a points per game basis. So for me, TJ was someone I was really struggling with. I was like, oh my gosh, do I really put this guy in this tier? And at the end of the day, I was like, I have to do it. The age is there. The draft capital is there. I think he's on an up-and-coming offense. So did you have any reserves with anyone else in this tier?
No.
Hawkinson was the hard one for me.
That's actually all I have in this tier. I don't know if you have more.
No, I was tempted, but no.
Okay.
I couldn't put, and I know there's one tight end in particular, Badaki, that we keep seeing getting drafted super high in Dynasty startups. And we'll talk about him in a second, but I think some people would advocate to put him in this tier. I'm just not ready to do that yet.
Yeah, I'm not ready to do that yet either. So the B tier here for me, if I'm looking down, it's because I'm actually having it on my iPad today.
Ooh.
So I started off with Pat the Dragon.
Same. I love that.
Dallas Goedert.
Okay.
I don't know where you go. So
you saw the change of tone?
Oh, okay. I'll tell you who I have. I'll give you my first 4, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
Pat the Dragon, Dallas Goedert, Cole Kmet, Dawson Knox.
Okay, you got Cole in this one.
Yes, I do have Cole in this one.
Okay. So this is interesting. I don't have Cole in this tier. Did you say Dalton Schultz? You don't have Dalton Schultz in this tier?
I actually don't have Dalton Schultz in this tier.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm struggling with that. I mean, he's only 25 years old. He was a tight end 3 last year.
Actually,
okay, so
honestly,
you
convinced me of it, and that's why I don't have him in C. But we can talk about it once we get to him.
That's why you don't have him in B.
Yeah.
Okay.
B, sorry.
So let's do this first. Who do we agree upon?
Okay.
So list your names again.
I guess I'll tell you everyone that's in. So Pat, Dallas, Cole, Dawson, Fant, Ertz.
So you have Fant and Ertz in this B tier.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So I have Fant in this one. Okay, so here's what's hard for me.
Okay.
I have Dalton Schultz all the way up here.
Oh, okay. So I have
him ahead of
all
Goddard,
those guys. Okay.
ahead of Knox, ahead of Fant, ahead of Kmet. I don't have Kmet in this tier. I don't have him at the start of the C tier. I like him, but we've not seen enough from Cole. That's my issue.
That's fair.
So who is not in this tier right now that you have? Let's talk about that player.
Ertz.
Let's see. Let's advocate. Because I'm going to advocate for Schultz. I think he absolutely has to be in this tier. Younger than a lot of these guys,
sure.
And has put up a top 3 year. I know the contract situation is a little murky, and I think he can be easily replaced. I know that sounds rude, but I think he can be replaced. He's not a special talent.
Yep.
He's a smart player, but I don't think he's athletically all that gifted.
Right.
Compared to other tight ends in the
I
league.
think that's why, like I said, when I said it earlier, I said you convinced me. I'm not convinced now that he is actually going to stay on this team or get another contract. Okay. You know, they don't really have much to weigh in on here to say, you know what, Dalton, you've produced 1 year, but let's see if you can do it again. I won't be surprised if
they're in a bad cap place as well.
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
Exactly. So if they need to move money, they're going to have to give up Zeke, or, you know, there's going to be some other places they're going to have to move. Maybe Dalton is that guy, and they draft a younger tight end that's coming in 2023. Maybe they pick up one in free agency and they give him a minimum, you know, like whatever the case may be. I'm not actually, once again, you've convinced me. I'm not actually convinced that Dalton is going to be the long-term answer. That's why I have him in C tier, and he's my first guy in C tier. The age, everything.
I was like struggling between Pat and Dalton. That's how.
Oh, okay.
Because it's hard to ignore the top 3 years
for sure.
Amari's gone.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many things.
And
are
by the way,
for the right way for Dalton. That's the thing.
On the Cowboys side of it, I've said this before on this channel multiple times, but I feel very strongly that this is Zeke's last year on this team. I'm just gonna keep saying that, and if I'm right, I'll look like an absolute genius. If I'm wrong, we'll pretend it didn't happen.
It wouldn't make sense with the cap, at least. Then they wouldn't have a big cap hit, and they're not really good. They're not really good.
Well, this is their first out. This is their first out.
Oh, they have their first out this year, right? Okay.
This is the last year of guaranteed money for Zeke.
Okay.
And they're paying the running back position more than any other team in the NFL, and that is not the way to win a Super Bowl. Okay, so anyway, we're talking about Zeke, and we're talking about tight ends. The tight end that you have in this category is Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
And who else do you have here that I don't have?
And Ertz. That's it. So I'm happy to put Dalton there if we can have Cole at the end of this tier.
Okay. I'll meet you there, and then we can put Ertz at the beginning.
Because that still makes him
of the C tier.
What's that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. I guess that's the consensus in the Cole Kmet is tight end 11 in the fantasy community right now. So
I've been a big advocate of him. I can't put him ahead of other guys I've seen production from just yet, because tight ends don't always produce. And that's, I think now, I do think this is the year he does. And probably, maybe I am being more skeptical because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And by the end of this year, he probably very well will be in this B tier, if not at the beginning of the B tier.
Yeah.
So I can understand. I can meet you there. Ertz. So they've kind of already drafted his protege.
Yeah, exactly.
They've kind of already drafted his replacement.
I hear you.
I think he's going to be fantastic in redraft. I don't know if I'm not a win now team, if I want to invest in him in Dynasty. So that's why I didn't have him in that B tier.
No,
but I'm happy to put him at the top of the C.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Another guy.
I actually had Hunter Henry ahead of him.
Yep.
I had him to begin my C, but I'll put him as the second guy.
No, that's fine. I had once again my C tier: Dalton, Henry. I have Mike Gesicki. I don't know if you have him on this tier. I do. I have Albert Ayoke.
Okay.
And then David Njoku. I guess with that contract extension, I know that Deshaun Watson is in question to come back, but it feels like there's no one else on this team besides Njoku that is the veteran and could be taking some snaps. I mean, 4-year contract extension. They paid the guy, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
Who's the quarterback is the
So-
big question.
That's the complete list for your C tier, right?
Yeah.
Is there anyone we're missing? Okay. For me, I'm on board with you. I just have one more guy that I'd like to add in here, and I actually have that player ahead of Gesicki, ahead of Albert O, and ahead of David Njoku. And that is, again, I guess if we're projecting Cole Kmet's value, I would like to do the same with a guy like Trey McBride.
Okay.
That kind of reception profile in college, and now you're going to come to a team that has what I believe is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL who can produce fantasy relevant tight ends. That's Trey McBride. So I would like to have McBride in this tier. I actually have him around here, ahead of Mike Gesicki.
You have him ahead. Okay. I guess because
And,
the protege,
you know,
right? Okay, so I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Loved him as a prospect as well. I really did like his profile. He got drafted a lot higher than I thought he would, so that gives you a lot of confidence. Is it okay if we add him to the C tier?
Yeah, let's do that. I'm happy with that.
Okay. You know, and if I'm in a startup personally, I've lost a lot of confidence in Njoku because of
For sure.
what
I'm
the
right
hell
there
is
with
going on
you.
with Deshaun and Gesicki. My mind, the way I think about it, I'm like, man, everything was so good for him last year.
Yeah, it was.
What happens now? He's now the third option, you know? Alberto, is he the fourth option in that offense? So that's why
Yeah.
when
Alberto's
I
in
look
question,
at guys in the next 3 years, I feel like McBride for me might be the most attractive guy in this tier.
I hear you.
All right, D tier. Who's at the beginning for you?
I mean, I feel like we're gonna get roasted already because he's in the D tier, but that's Irv Smith.
I love it. I had him at the top of this tier as well. Easily someone who could find himself into the B tier next year, but we haven't seen it. Hasn't been healthy.
We haven't seen it. After that, I have Brevin Jordan. I'll be honest with you.
Same.
Yeah, Brevin Jordan, and then I'm assuming this is Greg Dulcich.
No, I actually have Jelani way ahead of
Okay.
Greg.
Okay.
But do you have Greg?
I have Greg and then Jelani.
Okay, we'll put him back to back.
So
That's
yeah,
fine.
I'm right there with you.
I'm personally still going guys like Ingram over Dulcich. If I'm in a win now mode, I'll take a chance on Gronk.
Right,
Like,
I hear you.
If he comes back, he's a top 5 tight end.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously the rest of my list is a combination of these guys. Higbee, Hayden over there in Cincy, Logan Thomas, and then Adam Troutman. Did you have any,
The big Trout.
I guess,
No,
differences in how these guys were lined up?
no, I don't have anything. The only guy the one person I did have last, if you wanted to know, I guess is Logan Thomas, and then
Okay, I
it was
hate
Logan.
that.
It was Logan Thomas, and then Hayden Hurst. But I don't really mind.
So Hurst was your last.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
I'll say this about Hurst. It's going to be sporadic, just like it was last year for their tight ends over
for
there in
CJ,
Cincy.
Yeah.
And it's a 1-year contract. So if you're drafting him, he could be nobody next year. Again.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I get it. I'm not ready to give up on Evan Ingram. I have Ingram
Oh gosh,
right
I gave
ahead
up on my
of.
guy a long time ago. As a Giants fan, at least.
And I understand that. I understand that. I'm saying in Jacksonville, I think he's going to get a good amount of work in that offense.
I just think, isn't he still behind? I can't really. I don't know the Jags.
I don't
offense.
imagine that Dan Arnold is going to get on the field more than Evan Ingram at the tight end position.
That's what
I could be
That's
wrong.
what I'm thinking. You know, I'm thinking that maybe they will put Dan Arnold over Evan Ingram, but who knows? You know,
My problem with that thought process is why would they sign Evan Ingram then?
but didn't they give
If they had that much confidence in Dan Arnold.
Didn't they give Dan Arnold like a 3-year or something like that last? Or
I didn't
two,
see
or,
any
or
extension,
two,
but I
or
could be wrong.
2-year. I guess when they traded him, then they signed him, but I could be wrong. I don't remember the trade.
I don't remember an extension, but I could be wrong. That could be something that I just missed in the whole news reel. But you know, Ingram is a guy who intrigues me. I talked about how Kirk really intrigues me this year.
Yep.
Same with Ingram. I like the moves that they made this year. I think they put better players on the field. They overpaid those players, but they put better players on the field. And I still believe in Trevor Lawrence. The way I look at this offense is you could see Evan Ingram as a second option behind Christian Kirk. Really, that's like Marvin Jones, Evan Ingram could be that second 2A, 2B tier of option. What is that worth? Who knows?
Yeah.
So maybe
I hear
Dulcich is the young guy, but also Albert O's young. what is Dolcic? What is his timeline to relevancy? That's what I'm struggling with.
That is the problem.
What is his
We
timeline to
don't
relevancy?
know. And I think
Sutton's not over 26. Judy's young. Patrick is what, 27?
and we haven't seen the
KJ
history.
isn't old.
We haven't seen the history with Russ in a tight end as
not
like
consistently.
successful as we truly believe. When Russ went there, everyone was like Noah Fant. Well, technically they traded him, but like then it was Albert O, and I was like, well, it sounds cool, but Russ didn't really make anyone fantasy relevant. In the tight end position, he had fantasy relevant weeks.
Not consistently.
Yeah, they had fantasy relevant weeks, but not like, hey guys, he's going to be a top 10 solidified tight end, no doubt. Now that Russ is there, it feels shaky right now for me.
Sure, I can definitely understand where you're coming from there.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that I think could make their way into a higher tier next year, I would say
I think
Trey McBride stands out to me, and Cole Kmet stand out to me.
Yeah, I think Cole will feel comfortable. Like I said, that's top 11 right there for him. I think that's really comfortable. Maybe he does. I mean, I don't know if he goes to the A tier. That's like my guy and Justin Fields are the duo, and that's it. You can't convince me otherwise. But I think B tier will feel comfortable. I think for me, I'll probably have to say Hunter Henry. I'm still believing in Hunter Henry. He'll be the older kind of
only 27. He's only 27.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a tight end position, that's still okay. I think he can make his way up to the B tier. Same thing with Irv Smith. I think he can move up 1 or 2 spots for sure.
Agreed.
So
yeah, he could find himself in the B tier.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Fant. I'm not ready to give up on Noah Fant.
Yeah,
he's consistently being underdrafted. I think he's a great, value based off of his ADP.
Yeah,
maybe he's a good tight end to target in tight end premium leagues if people are really giving up on him like this.
Yeah,
but over there in Seattle, still a first round talent. Hasn't been able to be healthy. If he can be healthy, I think he can easily finish top 12. It's not that hard to finish top 12, by the way, if you look at a points per game basis. Anyway, let us know. Comment down below. What do you agree on? What do you disagree on? It's okay to see things differently. Let us know in the comments.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch
now,
it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.